Okay, not a very fun first half. You know, I didn't. I expected it to be a struggle to a degree because every game's a struggle. There are no easy games in 2020. But I did not expect the offense um, to be very bad. They've been very bad in this game. Um, you know, they just had a 2-minute drill before the half that was a mess of offensive line, just ineptitude. Um, and you know, offensive line in this first half has been horseshit. Kubiak's play calling has been very bad. You know, every time this Vikings offense struggles this year, you can chalk it up to either one of those two things or both. And this first half is both of them. Um, they're bad. The offense looks very bad. Um, Kirk has no time to throw. Um, they're not busting open anything for Dalvin. You know, they had the one nice drive where they got the touchdown. And they got in rhythm a little bit. Everything else has just been terrible. Like, you know, defense looked terrible at the beginning. Chris Boyd had one of the worst like first quarters that I think a defensive back can ever have, because basically every point Jacksonville has is because of Chris Boyd. He blows it. He has an interception basically in his hands, lets it clank off his hands, and it's caught on a deflection for a touchdown. And the driver they got the field goal. Guy makes kind of a circus catch over Boyd. I thought his shoulder came down out of bounds first. Shouldn't have been a catch, but they never really showed a replay and they didn't challenge. And then um, Boyd had a chance maybe to get an interception in the end zone on that drive. Didn't get it, so they get a field goal. So, you know, the MVP of the game right now for the Jaguars is Chris Boyd, but you know, there's not a lot of good right now. You know, other than that one nice drive, and the defense has kind of calmed it down a little bit. Dancer got his first pick. They've made a couple stops, so the defense is kind of settled in. Offense has to step it up second half and get this done, because who cares if you win ugly? It doesn't matter. You know, Cleveland barely beat this Jacksonville team last week. Green Bay barely beat Jacksonville with a third string quarterback a couple weeks ago. It doesn't matter. Just win. It doesn't matter if they come back and they win this game 12-9. Who cares? You won the game. But it doesn't look like they're going to win the game if the offense keeps playing like this, and if um, specifically the offensive line is just really, really bad. We got Ezra Cleveland back, but we look terrible on offensive line. This is the worst this offensive line has looked since September, and it's not close. Like they had looked competent. They looked even more than competent once Cleveland got in there, and now he's back, and they look terrible. Dakota Dozier looks really bad. The left side is really getting beat around. You know, and of course she missed a PAT, which is always irritating. But I don't know if that was a snap. For the Vikings' sake, it better not have been a snap, because they made a big to-do about Austin cutting for DePaulo or whatever, and you know, then they missed the PAT. But hey, KJ Osborne hasn't fumbled a punt yet, so that's encouraging. But yeah, big story of the first half is just the offense not getting it done, and with the exception of one drive, really looking terrible. Now, they've been a second half team for the most part this year. I mean, the offense wasn't really doing that much first half last week. They got it going. You know, Jacksonville's not going to go away. They played Green Bay and Cleveland for the last couple weeks for full 60 minutes. They're not going to just lay down. So you gotta do it. You gotta step it up. And you know, I put that on Kubiak and the offensive line. Like, the offensive line, if they're gonna block like this for Kirk and Dalvin, I don't see things changing very much in the second half in a positive way. If they figure it out a little bit, whatever worked on the good drive, just do that. Whatever was working on that, just get that going. I think they get the ball to start the third quarter, so that, hopefully they can go at least tie it or retake the lead. but they look very bad. And this is a must-win game, and it is a trap game. It does fit the definition of trap game, but you know, I don't care. I don't care if you win this game as ugly as possible. If you win this game, if you don't even get a touchdown, you just get a couple field goals and win the game with that. Who cares? Just win the game. Get to 6-6. You know, no one's gonna care if you um, no one's gonna care if you won ugly. I mean, some people will care because they're never happy, even if we win, 50 to nothing. They'd find something to complain about. But who cares? Just win ugly. Win ugly. Every team that gets anywhere has to win games ugly. So just go win ugly. Start blocking for Kirk. Start opening up something for Dalvin. I mean, there's no excuse for, you know, Zimmer. I still give him the benefit now. I haven't even mentioned till now. Eric Kendricks hurt in pregame warmups, and he isn't out there. I mean, what more can be done to Mike Zimmer's defense this year? He's got like 3 out of 11 out there who he would probably have out there under ideal circumstances. Smith, Harris, and Wilson. Those are the only guys who would be out there if he had his way. Maybe one, and maybe the rookie corners, but like he's got inexperience and backups everywhere, and like the fact that they're ever able to do anything is amazing to me. But yeah, they gotta get that offense going. Get the offense going a little bit in the second half. They should win this game. But if if they come out here, start the third quarter, and Kirk gets sacked, or they get a couple negative Dalvin runs, it's just I mean, right there, it's gonna feel like they're gonna lose this game because offense has to carry its weight. Like that's been the case since week 1. Offense has to be the leading thing with this team because they just don't have the personnel on defense this year, and they're not going to. So, all right, we'll see what happens second half. Hopefully, Kirk gets hot, or Dalvin gets hot, or both of them get hot, and we pull out a win.